Hi everyone, it's Darlene. Welcome back for another card video. Today I'm using this Hero Art set called Antique Engravings. It's extremely old. You can tell how much I've used it by how black these stamps are. I'm also using the Next Level Quilted Embossing Folder and my Prismacolor colored pencils. I'll start by stamping my butterfly onto some Neenah Solar White cardstock with Memento Tuxedo black ink. Here are all the colored pencils I'll be using. I'll list all the names on my blog. I'll color with the blue first. I'm moving from the very center of the butterfly about to the middle of the butterfly and then along the edges. And then I'll take my yellow and I'm going to move in the opposite direction, so from the edge toward the middle. And you can see I'm overlapping my colors just a little bit to get kind of a shade of green there. And then I went back in with the blue a little bit more just to blend those two colors together. Next is the step that makes a huge difference. I took a black colored pencil. I started from the center, moved outward. I covered a lot of the blue, but the part that I think makes the best impression is going across that line between the top and the bottom of the butterfly. You can see I'm really darkening it up here and it makes it look very dimensional. And then I felt like I covered up a little bit too much of the blue, so I went back and added a little bit more. These colored pencils are really creamy and easily applied to this Neenah Solar White paper. Notice that I left the dots completely white. Now I'm just going to fast forward. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side of the butterfly, trying to make them pretty much equal. I'm just going to pause it here so you can see how much more realistic the butterfly looks with that black added in the center. So now I'm going to take that black, same thing, adding it to the other side, and I fast forwarded this quite a bit, again accentuating that line between the top and the bottom half of the butterfly. I picked two different shades of brown for the body of the butterfly. I'm going to take this dark brown and color the left half, and then I'll take the light brown and kind of blend over that and color the rest on the right half. I decided I wanted it to be a little bit darker, and I'm glad I did this because when I went over with these two colors again, it really gave it a lot more perspective. I actually have the die for this stamp, but I decided to cut it out so I would get really close to the edge. I didn't want that white outline. I'm going to take a piece of vellum and put it inside my embossing folder. I'm going to show you my sandwich. I have my magnetic platform, one acrylic plate, and then the crease side going toward the machine first. And then I have my 3 Mylar shims that just adds a little bit more pressure. So notice I don't have that extra acrylic plate. And it was the perfect amount of pressure to get this vellum impressed without doing any damage to it, like breaking it. So I'm going to take my rectangular stitch dies from Simon Says Stamp. They're stitched on the inside and the outside so I can use the negative and have a stitch. I also have a 7/8 of an inch piece of white cardstock. I'm going to add some ribbon to this. This is some really old ribbon by Stampin' Up, but it's really pretty. It has a couple of different textures to it, and I just wanted to add a little something under the butterfly to give a little bit more interest to the white. So I'm just going to glue this around the back with ATG tape runner and then along the front with my 2A glue pen. So I'm just going to wrap that around. You can see it added just that little bit of interest without distraction. So I'm going to position it a little bit lower than halfway against my card frame here, and I'm going to mark it on the back with a pencil. I'll add some Tombow Mono multi-glue between those two pencil lines on both sides, and then I'm going to glue this. Notice it's face down, so the front of it is in the front of the frame. So when I flip it over, you'll see the ribbon. Now I flipped it back over to the back, and I covered the whole thing with some Tombow Mono multi-glue. And now I'm going to place my vellum on top of it. And I use Tombow glue because it's very strong and I can move it around if I needed to if it wasn't perfectly placed. Once I put an acrylic block on it, I let it sit for about 5 minutes and it was completely straight. It wasn't warped. It looked great. I added some Scotch foam tape to the back and adhered it to my Neenah Solar White card base. I have some Stampin' Up! Pearls. They don't sell them in this exact pack, but they do sell pearls. And I'm going to put 1 pearl on each of the crosses of my quilt. It's just really pretty in real life. I normally don't do this because it takes a lot of time, but there really wasn't that many pearls. I'm going to grab my glue dots. This is 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to touch my butterfly to the glue dots, 2 different ones, and then place that in the center of that white strip. And I'll lift the wings up a little bit to give it some dimension. And that is the card for today. So a really clean and simple card. It really makes the butterfly colors stand out when you just have white behind. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.